Alright, so the all-important offset surface needs to be done. I think what's becoming apparent throughout this tutorial is the early surfaces we did were very simple offset surfaces for solids, and we're still doing the same thing. They've just become more and more complicated because we've got all these details. So if you've got to this part of the tutorial and you're finding it a little bit more difficult to get your head around things, maybe repeat the first few lessons again. That's kind of the simple offset stuff. It's exactly the same principles going on. It just needs to have a slightly higher level of thought because of these indents and things we're doing. So what we're going to do now is pick just this piece. You can try to pick just that piece. Hold on one second. So just picking this piece we've just detailed here, deselect everything else. Okay, so that's just that detail. Join all that together. And if we're going to basically flip underneath, just to explain what we're doing, we're going to offset just this piece, because everything else is already nicely done. Offset just this piece of geometry by 2 mil. We're not going to do a solid this time. We're going to do just an offset surface. We'll then have that surface and the ends here, we're going to extend them through this surface, which is missing now. You can see there's a piece that's turned off. Once we've extended those through, we can join them all together. So it shouldn't be too hard to do this. I'll do an offset surface now. Direction's correct. Distance is 2. You can see I'm going to turn off solid though. So where it says S, the S is underlined. So type S on the keyboard. You can now see solid is turned off. I'm going to hit enter. This might take a little bit of time to figure out. If it does, I'm going to pause and then come back. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pause. Okay, so it's now done that. And it's not done a very good job. You can see there's a real mess there. So that doesn't help me a great deal at this point in time. So we've got some information that's good, some information that's really bad. So I might have to do this manually, unfortunately. So I'm going to hide everything else. And I'm going to pick just a few parts of this. We're going to explode. This is not a great situation to be in, but it's not that big a deal either. See if we can do just a few of these kind of base parts here. It seems to be actually these details that's causing a problem. So see if we can do those separately from everything else. Join all that together. Edit, select invert, and join that together. So this piece here should be quite easy to offset, I'm hoping. Offset surface, enter. Okay, so that's done that nicely. That's a good start. Got a little bit of weirdness going on there. Doesn't really matter. We can figure that out in a moment. Let's see if we can offset this piece now. This may cause us problems. Taking a little bit of time to figure it out. That's maybe a good thing. Okay, so that's not good. These are fine. So I'm going to undo. I'm going to explode this. We're just going to pick kind of this tray piece. Join that together. Pick these pieces. Join all them together. So it's kind of going to be a mishmash of lots of pieces all offset together. So let's try and offset this surface. Direction's correct. Surface is fairly good. So that's a good start as well. So I think we can probably Boolean these two together. Good. So that's all nice and joined together. So what we're doing here is the computer struggled to do this all in one go. You saw the mess it made. So we're breaking it down now for the computer, so it's a lot easier. So if we pick just this piece and offset it. Same with this one, same with this one. And we should have a nice set of surfaces here. We can just, doesn't like that. Okay, that's another piece then to fix. Doesn't like that either. Okay. So we're still getting somewhere. Let's try to Boolean this and these together. Okay, that's still worked. So we just have these couple of tricky little pieces here. And that should be quite easy to do manually. So to do that manually, let's do it now. So duplicate our edges. So let's just do half of it. Got our edges there duplicated. Going to offset just the curve this time. We're now working in 2D by 2 mil. Same there, 2 mil. So first thing to establish is we're going to split the surface with these curves. I'm going to get rid of but hide our curves because they're going to get in the way. I'm going to pick this surface and this one. I'm going to move them by 2 mil. It's going to be -2 though. Actually, just type 2 and hold down Alt and Shift, and they are now sticking up by 2 mil. We've got a hole in the middle there I don't want, so I'm going to untrim this hole and this hole, and you can already see the logic we're following here. If I now do a loft between here and here, here and here, join these all together. Now, part of the problem, I would imagine, is it tried to put a radius on here, which was too big for these curves. So I'm going to try and put a radius on. Let's see what we get. I've got 5 mil right now. I don't want that big. I've only done an offset here of 2 mil. So if I do a radius bigger than 2 mil, it's never going to work. If I do one at 2 mil, it probably won't work either. So I'm going to try 1.75 on this edge. And that worked very nicely. So using these, mirror them over, pick this surface here, split it with these 2 new objects, hold down Control, click the piece you want, delete those away, Control A, join. Should now have an inner shell and an outer shell. Let's check our inner shell for any errors. Analyze edge tools, show edges. Has one edge around there, which it should do because that's not joined to anything yet. So that's very good news. That worked really well. So that's now our inner surface. Final thing we've got to do is integrate that all together with the surfaces around it. So I'm going to just unhide everything. Turn off our main box. Don't need that. Turn off. Actually, let's have a quick look. Make sure we still cleared it. We did. We're good. Hide that. So in here, we've got a surface there that's not trimmed. It needs to be trimmed. So I'm going to pick this and this, hide everything else. I'm going to turn off the shaded mode just for now. Now I need to do a quick explode on this because I need to extend these edges here. So extend surface, this one and this one. Now I'm going to split this surface with these 2 extensions we've just done. Hold down Control, click the piece I want, delete that piece out. If I turn on shade now, you see what we've done. We've made a hole, and I just need to split this surface with this one. Delete them away. Control A, join. Unhide everything. Turn this off again. Turn off our tray again. Control A, join. Turn off our isopalms. I'm going to edit, select our curves, put all them on a curves layer, and turn off these as well, hide them. Analyze edge tools, show edges. Can't see any pink edges on there, so that means that's a really good piece of geometry. It's got no holes in it, will print really well, and I'm actually quite pleased with the way that went. That was quite nice and smooth. So we have a handle to cut in here, or to add in here, and then a couple of lids either side to cover these trays, and that's the next lesson.